Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has one of the largest rosters in fighting game history at 89 playable characters. But the game I'm developing has over 1 million! How could there be 1 million? Allow me to introduce you to combinatorics. Characters in the game are made up of 8 different stats, with each stat having a value of 1 to 8. Characters get a budget of 36 points to spend on stats. I tried asking ChatGPT how many possible characters there were, and it gave me some confidently wrong answers. So let me show you some bad code I wrote to figure it out. It runs through every possible combination and adds one to the total if it's within budget. There's a little over 1 million characters that use all of the 36-point budget. But not all characters have to be balanced. You can make a character with values of 1 for every stat, or any other combination within budget, bringing the total to almost 9 million. So how do you make a custom planet? You can pick an attribute on the Stats Viewer pie chart, and then pick a value from 1 to 8 slices of the single slice within the larger pie. You also can't pick values that would make you go over budget. Not the ideal interface, but it works. You can also press a button to randomize stats. I used randomized characters almost exclusively when I playtested the game against others. This was to give me a sense of which stats were weak or strong, and which ones worked well together. I was finding that large, low health characters were underpowered. It was too easy to get cheesed and die from a single grab. So I made characters with low health survive longer while outside the ring. I also made the ring larger overall, particularly for characters with high mass and range. Now that heavy characters weren't dying as quickly, characters with high grip like Uranus were too effective at draining health. I reduced the grab time for high grip stats, and increased the effect that temperature had on breaking grabs. To encourage throwing, I made high mass characters have higher throw strength, and made grabs last a bit longer while swinging. But what about if 2 players are too different in skill level? I introduced the option for a health handicap, so players can start with different amounts of health. I decided to make a portal for each player that opens and closes for spawning and despawning. It also stays open when a player is set to ready. The sun now shows the portion of ready players in the lobby. I reused the grid texture from grabbing space to show when players can't move their planet, such as in the lobby and during the countdown timer of matches. I changed team lines to resemble a double helix shape, with multiple oscillating sine waves. The camera is now more dynamic. It takes player velocity into account to show more room where the players might be headed. It's now more obvious when a player is bouncing. The planet scales up, and the white part is brighter. I wanted to have multiple AI behaviors in the game for different situations. I started with a survival AI that just bounces off of the ring. This can be used as a practice mode, so they don't die instantly from any hit. Before implementing any more AIs, I figured I would need to rework the AI system to avoid a mess of if statements. The new AI selects behaviors from a weighted priority list for its current state. There are 5 inputs for players: move planet, move moon, grab, bounce, and spin. Each input has a number of actions. For example, move moon towards planet, or orbit moon clockwise. On each frame, the AI determines the priority percentage for each action within each input. For example, the closer the AI's moon is to the middle of another planet, the higher the chance that it will grab. But it still has a small chance not to grab due to the random nature and to make things more fair and less predictable. This system made it easy to set up different AI bots by giving a list of actions that they're allowed to perform. The survival AI only has access to the bounce ring action. It took a while to get things set up, but I eventually got the base AI to be as competent as the old system. I made a renewed demo mode, where AI players battle after a period of inactivity. This was to make the game a little more interesting at playtests when nobody was playing, rather than just being stuck on the lobby screen. I started going to some game development meetups and playtesting the game there. I was finding that new players were struggling to know what to press without someone telling them. I needed to improve button prompts. I started by making them way bigger, and only able to show one prompt per player during gameplay. To avoid overwhelming players, button prompts now only show if the game notices they aren't doing certain actions. The game tracks player game stats, such as the number of grabs and the number of missed grabs. Now if a player misses 2 grab opportunities and hasn't grabbed yet, it'll show the prompt on the 3rd grab opportunity. It'll also make sure that the player knows basic actions like grab and bounce, before showing prompts for more advanced actions like spin and parry. I also made an option to disable prompts for experienced players. Though if they truly were experienced, prompts shouldn't be showing for them anyway. Some people were still pressing the bumper buttons when being prompted to press the triggers. So I changed the text to RT and LT, which is what Xbox uses. But even this wasn't enough sometimes, but I figured there was only so much I could do. Players would eventually figure out that bumpers don't do anything useful in the menu. Speaking of the menu, I implemented a tooltip with lots of information on the currently selected picker. The text for the title and subtitle animates in letter by letter. The extra information allowed for better explanations of the options. Characters have strengths and weaknesses listed, as well as unique taglines. The stats menu explains how each stat affects characters. The pickers now scale up on hover, and toggle pickers change to a dark color when disabled. I also made the lobby more spread out to account for the extra information. There's a new status text that shows when options are changed for some visual confirmation that the right option was picked. The same system is used for random phrases that are shown when starting or winning a game. Let me know if you have any ideas for these in the comments. The game was now easier to pick up with better button prompts, but they can only go so far. In the next devlog, I'll implement tutorials for all basic player actions, create a main menu, and overhaul the game's branding for Steam, where you can add the game to your wishlist right now.